Thomason near side. Cinco over the middle, intercepted! A one-handed stab going the other way. And all the way! Touchdown! Hashtag DNR T5.
Deseret News Rewind is presented by Heidemann & Associates. Call them now for a free consultation, 801-754-4240, or go to utah.law.
Welcome in Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster, Dane, Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann & Associates, but brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard.
That's right, Dusty. Heidemann Associates, a full-service law firm, so whatever needs you might have legally, give them a call. Locations throughout the state of Utah, 801-754-4240. Tell them Deseret News Rewind sent you. You get a free consultation. Never a bad deal, huh?
Saw Justin last night. Things were going
He's
good.
got to be happy.
Yes. More phone calls would always be a good thing, too. But honestly, we want to thank Justin Heidemann and Associates for supporting what we do in Deseret News Rewind. Also, Utah Army National Guard been with us from the beginning. This season, and look out for the award show they're going to have at the end of the year. But also up to $20,000 in bonuses. We'll give you a read on that in our quick hits. Well, let's talk about this. A big night last night. Round number 2, a little more competitive than round number 1. We won't go through that in the opening statement, but our opening statement today is our best of the second round. And Dane, an interesting 6A night. Who was your best?
Well, for me, it was the game I was at, Dusty. Lone Peak and Skyridge. And you think of everything that happened with Lone Peak, the injuries, having to forfeit games late in the year. I'll tell you what, Coach Bronkbake has his boys ready to go. I mean, this is a rematch against Skyridge, region rival, game they lost late in that one. And they've never beaten Skyridge. I know Skyridge just around for a couple years, but 0-2 coming into that ball game last night. And, the offense for Lone Peak, Trajan Hansen's back. Sean Wood is back. That was great to see. Still trying to find their rhythm again. I thought Romney played really well, had a couple of real great throws, but it was the defense of Lone Peak. That's what this program has been the last 2 years, and that defense looked as strong as ever, Dusty. How about starting 3 drives inside the Skyridge 20? 3 of them inside the Skyridge 20. But, I mean, from the opening drive of the ball game, got a safety on a blocked punt, Lone Peak did. Had a big return by Richie on a punt to set up their second touchdown. This game, really, second quarter, got 16-0. Felt like it was going to be hard for Skyridge to come back, and it was. Just wasn't that kind of a night for Skyridge. The pressure from Lone Peak. I ran out of fingers how many sacks they had. That defense was just suffocating on Emmett Call. Nothing he could do. Skyridge couldn't get the ground game going, and in the end, Lone Peak with a very comfortable 30-6 win. And watch out. I mean, this was the team we mentioned. No one wants to play in the playoffs, and the way they played last night, Dusty, they can hang with any team in the 6A state playoffs.
Well, and that's what it was last year. The defense turned the things over to the offense, and it's how you beat a high-powered American Fork that goes for 1,000 yards in one game. You just keep them out of the end zone. How about this one that one of us got wrong? Okay, both of us got wrong. Syracuse taking down Pleasant Grove, and and to both your credit especially, talk about Hamblin could have that night. Ty Burke just picked up a PWO from BYU, and it was both of those guys getting it done. And how about the 71-yard pass, Hamblin to Sam Adams, and just not enough for Coach Wooten and PG, as Syracuse got the 27-14 win and the Region 1 representative by now. And so congratulations to the Titans. They are the lone man left from Region 1, but a big win over Pleasant Grove, right? Your best of 5A.
Well, Dusty, how about a game that, when I was going through the playoffs, I originally had this team winning it, and then when we were filming last week, for whatever reason, I switched. I don't even know why. How about the Wasatch Wasps, Dusty? And you want to talk about a team effort. That's what it was in their 30-17 victory over the 30-13 victory over the Highland Rams. How about no player had multiple touchdowns on the night for Wasatch? How about the defense forcing 5 Highland turnovers in this ball game? How about a 17-0 second quarter for the Wasps as they're able to beat Highland? It sets up a really interesting quarterfinal match coming up this week. We'll talk about that game a little bit later. But Coach Coburn, the Wasatch Wasps, that ground game was great. The defense forced turnovers and extra possessions. Big win for Wasatch.
That is a good one. And how about you talk about a 17-0 quarter? How about a 21-0 third quarter in a game that was only 7 points at halftime? As Provo exorcised some demons knocking off and just really taking out to the woodshed in the second half. In the third quarter, 3 straight drives for Alta resulted in 3 turnovers, which turned into 21 Pro Bowl points, including a top 5 play from Mason Cobb. I know you're watching. Mama Cobb came and talked to me after the game. They watch every video. A one-hand stab that you're going to see on DNR T5 and taking it to the house was the capper of that third quarter as Provo just ran ruckshot in the second half over the Alta Hawks, getting their first playoff win since 2006 and the first playoff win under Coach McGeary. Sets up a pretty fun game next week. And the only time I've ever heard Provo cheer when a certain school has been announced of winning a game. They wanted him, they got him. We'll talk about it here later. Then your best of the rest.
Well, how about a team that got a loss late in the year? You kind of wondered, did we maybe have an inflated opinion of this team? Nope. How about the Morgan Trojans, Dusty? Had to take on Manti last night and had a pick 6. Morgan got a safety as well, a 21-point second quarter. Morgan able to overcome the Templars 33-14. And Dusty, I think some of the questions that maybe people had about Morgan, those are put to bed. Yeah. Morgan looked to make a late run in 3A tournament.
Just want to stay away from a certain team, the top of that bracket, find out who they are, but they're going to get there. How about this? We've been asking for Mountain Crest to score more points. Yeah. Well, they do. They scored 24 last night. The only issue is Stansbury scored 28 late as they got a late touchdown to get the win, as it was Caden Clark, a 10-yard pass from Crew Huxford as time essentially expired. 17 seconds left in the game as the Stallions shocked the Mustangs in the Battle of the Horses. Got it taken care of there out at Stansbury. Congratulations to the Stallions on a big win.
Yeah. Good one.
All right, let's get into our normal setting here. What we want to do, we want to hold ourselves accountable for our bracketology videos. So we're going to talk about how we fared, and we're going to get you set for this one. But first of all, let's start in 6A. And I would say go from the top to bottom. We both had Corner Canyon. And how about Corner Canyon against Westlake? Corner Canyon's an absolute buzzsaw.
Yeah, they are. Austin Bell, I think he had 5 rushing touchdowns in this one. I saw on Twitter he picked up.
Why didn't somebody talk about him being the offensive player of the year? My gosh.
I saw on Twitter he got an offer from Utah State. So great to see. Great to see Austin Bell on that one. And look, that ground game, I think for Corner Canyon, you're going to have to be there throughout the playoffs, but a big win over Westlake.
We talk about Syracuse PG. I'll tell you what, for Syracuse now getting Corner Canyon, it's a whole new animal out of Region 4. But congratulations to Syracuse. And Hamblin, Ty Burke and crew can't turn the ball over. Easier said than done against that defense.
How about this? The only team to beat a Region 4 team in the playoffs so far, outside of Region 4, Syracuse Titans. I mean, the only other Region 4 team to lose was Skyridge, who lost to Lone Peak.
This is a really interesting one. Well, we talk about Skyridge, Lone Peak, and this one, Lone Peak, we talked about it earlier, kind of already went through that one. Be interesting to see where the offense goes. But in the second, how about Kearns was down 14-10 against Hunter? Came back and got a win.
How about Kearns was up 17-14 that ball game. Hunter's driving. Dusty, a penalty sets them back. They try the field goal. It gets blocked. Next play, Bassa. 50-yard touchdown reception like that. 10-point swing. It went from a competitive game to being blown wide open as Kearns able to sweep Hunter on the year 2-0 against the Hunter Wolverines. And you got Kearns now in the quarters.
Well, Harriman and Jordan was a rematch from a game earlier this year. And the Harriman Mustangs, they're playing well. They're playing playoff football under Coach Pierce.
Tell you what, though, the Digs made this interesting, Dusty. It was 16-13 at half and looked like Jordan might be able to do something in the second half. But Harriman, you talk about their growth and what a game for them. James had 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown as Harriman able to get past the Digs.
It'd be interesting to watch that one. We're going to talk about this. We told you last week there would be points scored in the Roy AF game. And we're over 100 scored in it because we thought, well, Roy, if you're giving up 27 to Northridge, you're going to give up some points. More than double that to AF.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised how many points AF gave up. It was 27-7 in the first quarter. It was 20-0 just 8 minutes into this ball game. AF came on. Madsen, what a game for him. Had 3 passing touchdowns. 5 passing touchdowns. Ingersoll had a pick 6 for American Fork as they look as good as ever.
Well, that's going to set up a fun game we're talking about later. Bingham and Fremont. Bingham's turned the corner.
Yeah, they have. 29-0, Dusty, at halftime for Bingham. Maine had a pair of passing touchdowns. This is not the Bingham of yore. And I was talking with someone this week. I was like, how did Bingham work up to a 3 seed? And then you see what they did against Fremont. It's like, it's a pretty good Bingham team that has got it figured out at the right time of the year.
Well, good to see Maine back out doing his thing. Layton East, this was never in doubt.
Yeah, East ran over Layton in this one. That running attack just too much, the physicality too much, 50-10, and sets up a real interesting quarterfinal as well.
And to my memory, I think we only missed 1 game.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was a Syracuse game.
Yeah.
Good on you, Titans. Kept us from going undefeated here. Speaking of undefeated, let's go to the 5A bracket. Salem Hills, I don't want to say made quick work, but took care of Bountiful.
Yeah, but how about this? It was the second lowest point output for Salem Hills this year, Dusty. The only lower total point output was 23, a game that they just snuck by Wasatch. Interesting for a couple of reasons, but that Bountiful defense gave them, good contest in the end. Salem Hills able to lock up McCann and get the win.
The Fighting Coburns and Wasatch, we talked about it earlier, getting the win against Salem Hills, but Thackeray does a good job. They take care of the football. It's a good win for Wasatch.
Yeah, it is, and sets up a game that I think they wanted again in the state playoffs.
Who wouldn't?
Yes.
Well, Murbury didn't quite make it to Olympus, as Olympus just absolutely ran all over the Spartans.
Yeah, Goodson had 2 passing touchdowns, both of them to Edwards. Peterson had 2 rushing touchdowns for Olympus as they took care of the Spartans.
We both have Orem winning the 5A state championship. I tell you what, Brighton did not make that second round game easy.
They did not. 14-0 third quarter for the Orem Tigers, including a scoop and score from Noah Sewell, was the difference in this ball game. Brighton, that defense, watch out, folks. Brighton was a lot better this year than I thought people thought they would be. Better than I thought they would be. Watch out, Coach Hem doing a fantastic job there for the Bengals.
Some underclassmen coming back next year, too. Yes. Brighton, they aren't the old Brighton.
Nope.
Well, they want to be the old Brighton. Let's put it that way. They want to be the 90s Brighton. Provo Alta, we talked about this one. It was a number of guys. Ryan Harward had a great game. I thought Haslam played really, really well. They ran the ball great. Go watch our Moment of the Week video. I had a conversation with Haslam, Harward, and Havea, and then also talked with Coach McGeary. Listen to his podcast, too. It was a good one. But great win for Provo. Timpview in Springville. Springville nearly pulled this one off.
Yeah, they did. This was a really tight ball game. It was 14-7 halftime for Springville, and Moa had 2 rushing touchdowns. Lamson had 1 as Timpview able to come back, shut them out in the second half, and get the victory.
Yeah, got a late touchdown midway through the fourth quarter to get them over the top. Farmington made quick work of the Lakers.
Yeah, they did. 30-0 over Bonneville, and this Farmington team got the ground game going. Toon was impressive. Everton looked like he was, but that Farmington defense really stood up and shut down the Bonneville attack.
Lehigh went up to Woods Cross. We knew this would be a good one. That's why we're here at Lehigh. Nice win for Coach Larson and the Pioneers.
Yeah, according to the box score, Jacob had 1 passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown as Lehigh able to sneak past Woods Cross on the road 21-14.
Be very, very interesting where we go. Now let's talk about how our champions are going.
Yeah.
We picked them 4A, 3A, and 2A. 4A, I know I'm still good. Pineview, McLeod Croton counted for 6 touchdowns last night. Dixie also got a win as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Park City, 20-0 wasn't, overly appealing, but a win's a win, right? Meanwhile, on the other end of the bracket, or Pineview.
Yeah.
I had Park City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Skyview on the other end, Bobcats look pretty doggone good themselves, Dusty.
Yeah, they did.
Carlson, I think, had 5 touchdowns for Skyview, and Falslev had, I think, 2 or 3 receiving.
3A, I had North St. Pete and Juab.
Yep.
North St. Pete's offense got to get this going.
Yep.
But they're Bingham of 3A.
Yeah.
Dave Peck of Yore. Run the football, play good defense, keep teams out of the end zone. That's what they did. Juan Diego left drives at the 2-yard line. It'd be 3 drives ended at the 2-yard line. Couldn't quite punch it in, and just North St. Pete got the win. And then Juab just kept doing what Juab does. Cade Bowering and crew. My champion's still alive.
I had North St. Pete winning this sucker, and you know what, Dusty? A win's a win. What does the great say? Defense wins championships. Yeah, keep playing defense, North St. Pete. I got your back.
2A, Beaver just doing Beaver things.
Yeah.
They're still going. I'm not worried about that one.
Milford, all they did was rush for 3 or 4 touchdowns in the game. That includes having the state's career passing touchdown leader under center. So the offense just did what it does, put up 50.
All right, let's get to let's preview this next week. Brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that if you want to further your career, the Utah Army National Guard is not just about military service. It is about getting you set for a job. Dane, you can get up to $20,000. You want a signing bonus? You get up to $20,000 depending on the job that you want to specialize in and get training in. Go to nationalguard.com.
Yeah. You mentioned not just military service, engineering, right? Mechanical, medicine, all sorts of different career paths available, over 150 different career paths available.
All right, let's talk about this next round. There are some fun games. We've been teasing them. Let's start first 6A like we always do. Corner Canyon taking on Syracuse.
Yeah. Love Bridger Hamblin. I don't know, man. Good luck. Good luck. He might be running around quite a bit against that Corner Canyon defense.
You need to turn into Liam Neeson. Just you gotta. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Get yourself worked up so you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
yeah,
there'll be some problems. Lone Peak and Kearns.
Yeah, there's no starting slow this week for Kearns. You got to come and play your best game, and if you give Lone Peak short fields, this ball game is going to be over quick.
Well, you're getting caught looking ahead. I think maybe that Hunter game. You got caught looking ahead.
And it was a motivated Hunter team, right?
They ran rush on him a couple weeks ago. You knew you're probably going to get Lone Peak or Skyridge look ahead of him. It's going to tough. But Afatasi and Bassa have got to come out big.
I mean, I'll tell you this, that front four of Lone Peak, Dusty, they were relentless. And I don't know how you block them if you're Kearns. Going to have to be creative on the offensive side and try to find a way to keep that defense at bay.
There was a game that flipped the switch for Harriman, and not just, I believe, at Harriman, but in our minds too, and a lot of people in the state, it was the Harriman-AF game. AF was up at half of that game, and Harriman, they went in, changed something, and maybe they changed uniforms. I don't know what they did, but they've been different since, and that's a rematch here in the next round.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun because you look at this game and you look at the way these two teams have been playing coming in, and they both look like they're playing exactly how they want to be playing. Now, Harriman may say, well, we weren't real pleased with our defensive effort in that second round. They're going to have a week to get that fixed, but you know AF has been wanting this game back. And for Harriman, this was the game that really showed, hey, we are legit. We are a force in the state this year. This is going to be an absolute stellar quarterfinal between AF and the Harriman Mustangs.
Bingham and East, this game came down to a 2-point conversion in the regular season. Bingham got the win. Coach Madich yet to get on top of the boys in blue from Bingham. And now here they go. Quarterfinals, not quite Rice-Eccles Stadium. I imagine we're going to beat capacity.
Yeah, I would imagine this would be a big ball game, obviously. You mentioned East trying to get that monkey off their back, getting over the top against Bingham. This Bingham defense, Dusty, they have not allowed a lot of successful rushing this year. And that's been one of the keys for them is they have done a good job against the ground game. That's what East is going to try to do. Going to be a battle up front on the line of scrimmage. Going to be interesting to see who's able to win that. That Bingham offense coming around. That East defense is going to have to be sure. And you talk about Maine, he threw for 2 touchdowns this last week. Are we going to see Bingham air it out a little bit more? He's got the arm to do it, got some options on the outside. Going to be interesting. If you want to get Bingham, this is the year, Dusty. They got a lot of youth they're going to be bringing back in future years. If East is going to get Bingham, got to do it this week. Not to put any pressure on you, but this is the week to do it.
That's going to be a fun one. Remember, Maine did not play in that first matchup. It was after the Harriman game where he got injured. All right, let's go to 5A previewing this week as Salem Hills and Wasatch. This game was a field goal at the horn, a win for Salem Hills.
I mentioned when we were going through our bracketology, I veered away from what I was thinking. Dusty, if I had Wasatch over Highland, I didn't. I get it. I would have picked Wasatch to beat Salem Hills this week. I think Wasatch, seeing that game slip through their fingertips the way it did, feel like they're going to want that second opportunity, going to be extra motivated this week in practice. Salem Hills, boy, you better come prepared because you're going to get the best effort from Wasatch this week, and this will be a really, really fun one.
It is going to be very, very interesting. Next one, we got Olympus and Orem. You want a team that's going to match you physically? You want a team that's going to match you mentally?
Yeah.
Orem has got to be sharp in this game because Olympus, they were pulled out off a year ago against Corner Canyon. They want another chance to win a 5A championship, and that championship is this week.
It is. And, you know, the interesting thing to me, and maybe the aspect we haven't really talked about, whenever we think of Orem, we sometimes think about last year's Orem team and their ability to put up a lot of points. And I know they've got Sewell out of the backfield, but this year's been about the Orem defense, Dusty, and I don't know that Olympus is going to get 49 points against that Orem defense this year.
Not happening.
I don't think so, right? So to me, it comes down to your point. Can the Orem D or can the Olympus D get enough good stops against this Orem team to allow their offense 21, 28 points and allow that to be enough? I think that's going to be the real key. I think Olympus is going to be able to score against Orem, but I don't know how much, and will it be enough to overcome Orem's offense?
Biggest thing, you cannot put the ball on the turf if you're Orem, or probably Olympus.
Turnovers.
And if you're Orem, it's just simply hold on to the football.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I think it'll be a fast game.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting. I'm a little more sure the way I picked it last week. I'm not as sure this week as I was last week, and it has nothing to do with the 2 games. It just all of a sudden now a little doubt start creeping in, but I got Orem in my 5A championship, so we'll take that one. Provo and Timpview.
Yes, please.
Oh man, the battle of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
I teased this earlier. I was at the Provo game last night. They announced only one score got announced at that game, and it was a final score from the other game. Timpview 21, Springfield 14, and the crowd went nuts. They want Timpview. It is going to be a scene at Provo High School.
We talked about earlier this year, Dusty, the feel around Provo was, this is the year we get back on Timpview. We beat them. Had an opportunity in the regular season game. They couldn't get it done. Came up just short. A low-scoring contest. If Timpview wants to win this week, it's got to be low-scoring again. They got to find a way to shut down that Provo offense. And the way that Provo looked in the second round, it's a tall task because, boy, it looked like everything was clicking there for the Bulldogs. The defense created some extra possessions. If you're Timpview, you got to play a clean ball game in this one to get another win over the Provo Bulldogs. We both, I think, picked Provo in this matchup in the playoffs in our bracketology. I'm going to stay with that, but I think this is going to be a real fun game in Utah County.
Well, one, can Provo score on that defense? 13-7 was the regular season score. They got to score. Number one, they can't come out slow. They came out slow against Alta. Felt like a 900-pound gorilla is why I asked Coach McGeary. He was sitting on their chest, and I think he thought it was other when I meant in the playoffs. Yeah. And they got over it. That defense had to turn some stuff over for the offense. Farmington and Lehigh.
This is going to be so fun, Dusty. I mean, Lehigh and Woods Cross, 21-14. Lehigh won. I know they aren't putting up 40, 50 points in that ball game. And you look at Farmington, what their defense did against Bonneville, shutting them out. Can Cooper take care of the football and move it enough against that Farmington defense? They've got some real players up front. Wilson up front. We've talked about him on that defensive line for Farmington. That secondary, I've seen them shut down Luke Hyde, who I think is one of the best up-and-coming receivers in the state. That's going to be the big question for me. And Carson Manukin. Can you establish the ground game against that front of Farmington? I think that's going to be key for Lehigh to help open up that passing attack. I had Lehigh in this one. It was one of the games that we disagreed with in our bracketology. I think this is going to be a heck of a ball game. And this is the opportunity for Farmington to really justify their regular season. Say, hey, we had some nice wins in the regular season. We compete against Lone Peak, but all that's meaningless if you don't win games in the playoffs. And this is the opportunity for Farmington to really say, yeah, we are legitimate. We are state title contenders. It all starts this week against Lehigh.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. All those games be great. Some of them are rematches. Now to the closing statement brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. Give them a call for a free consultation. Go look them up at utah.law. I want to thank Justin Heidemann for all the support here on Deseret News Rewind. All right, there are rematches coming up in 5A, 6A. Just sticking on those ones. Which of the rematches do you see going differently in the playoffs than in the regular season?
Yeah, all right, so it's bulletin board time, right? Yep. Coaches, listen up. Get your pens and computers ready. I'll tell you the one that I have that feeling that I think might go a little bit differently, and it's AF Harriman. I just feel like there's something about American Fork, and I don't know if it's the victory over Lone Peak, but it just feels like they are playing at another level right now. And that offense, that Roy defense, I think they're good. They're not as good as Harriman, but you put up 27 points in the first quarter, 49 at halftime. I mean, it feels like they're able to do whatever they want. Now, I know Coach Pierce and Harriman, they're going to have a solid game plan in place for American Fork, but you get Madsen, you get Gregory going on the ground, you get that offensive line churning. There's a lot of options. Downing on the outside. There's a lot of options for this AF offense. And don't forget, AF defense is really good as well. Physical up front. I think that might be the game, in my opinion, you might see go differently here in the tournament.
I got Region 8 in my mind.
I knew you would.
It was a field goal at the Horn. No, you thought I was going to go there. I still got Salem Hills in that one. Provo and Timpview. I may have picked Provo in that video, but there's 30 years of history that tell me otherwise. And when you want something so bad, there's a song that came from that era. Have you ever needed someone so bad? Def Leppard, go look it up, kids. It's a good one. Sometimes you just want it so much, it just can't quite get there.
It overwhelms you.
It becomes too much.
Yeah.
And this week, will it be that for Provo? A little coach speak moment for you. Don't let it be. Go get them. All the pressure right now is on Timpview. It ain't on Provo. Everyone's going to say it's on the other side. You got to put all that pressure on Timpview. 30 years of history. Do you want to be the team that loses to those guys? Do you really want to be them? And now they're on the west side. They're not even on the east side anymore. You want to lose to the west side dwellers? You're probably going to. Provo's got to focus up and go get that football game. I'll take Provo. Still, I still feel good. I was waning moments ago, but I'm on you, Provo.
Where was the regular season matchup?
It was at Timpview.
All right, this one's at Provo.
Yeah, this one's at Provo. They got to play 1-1.
Yeah.
At home, they're going to have a crowd there. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be good.
For all the marbles, the whole Magilla.
The whole ball wax.
Yeah.
Could be fun. One more I think could change, and I know we're both on it. We got to talk about it just real quick. Binghamton East. That's one of the biggest games every year.
Yeah.
And do you see that one changing? Bingham won on two.
In our bracketology, I picked East because one of these years is going to happen, right? I don't know if this is the week to do it. I mean, I know East is playing really well right now. Maine is back for Bingham. I think their ability to throw the football adds an extra dynamic. Bingham won that game earlier without Maine under quarterback. I'm staying with East, Dusty, because that's what I picked, and I don't go against my picks. But I don't know. I mean, thinking about that one a little bit more, I don't know if this is the year. I'll tell you the other game. I do think Wasatch has the opportunity to pull off against Salem Hills.
I do too. I was just going to try to finish with that one. Going, hey, by the way, Wasatch against Salem Hills.
Transition.
That's why we don't prep it that way.
Yeah,
But no, this could be a good week. A lot of fun. By the way, a special broadcast coming up this week.
That's
we'll
right.
get that game announced.
Yep.
We have a special third member of our booth. We're calling this game together.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it.
Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox joining us for basketball. Yep. He's joining us in the state tournament this Friday night at our game of the week. Hit us up. Where do you see we were right? Were we wrong? What do you see happening this week? Is there a rematch coming up that you think will go differently in the playoffs than it did in the regular season? Hit us up at D News Rewind, at Dane_Stewart, at Dusty Litster. Oh, the playoffs are so much fun. 1 week away from getting to the big house at Rice-Eccles Stadium. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and watching Deseret News Rewind on Deseret.com.